1945, 9 Mile, Jamaica, a small village. Cedella Booker was 18. She was pregnant. Who was the father? Norval Marley, 50 years old, white, English, a soldier. They were married. But Norval had left. "I'll come back," he'd said. He didn't. February 6th, the baby was born. Robert Nesta Marley, mixed. His mother was black. His father was white. In Jamaica, this was a problem. Black people would say, "He's the white man's child." White people would say, "He's the black woman's child." Bob didn't belong to either. He didn't belong anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications, because this is the story of a child caught between two races, an identity crisis, and the birth of the one love philosophy. But what Bob didn't know at that moment was that this alienation wouldn't destroy him, but would create a message that would change the world, because the child who belonged nowhere would eventually belong to the whole world. Cedella Booker was born in 1926 in 9 Mile, a black Jamaican. In 1943, she met Norval Marley. Norval was 50, Cedella was 17. He was a white Englishman. "Will you marry me?" They married in 1944. But Norval's family was furious. "You married a black woman? Shameful." Cedella's family was suspicious too. "That white man will use you, then leave you. They always do." Late 1944. Cedella was pregnant. Norval said, "I have business." Going to Kingston. He left. Never came back. Maybe his family pressured him. "You're going to be the father of a mixed baby?" Maybe he was ashamed. Maybe fear. Nobody knows. But he never returned. February 6th, 1945. Bob was born. In 9 Mile. Cedella was alone. Poor. Norval would send money sometimes, a little money, but he never came, never saw Bob, never held him, never said, "My son." He died in 1955. Bob was 10. He'd never known his father, never even seen a photograph. Bob grew up. But he looked strange. His skin was lighter, different from the other 9 Mile children. He had curly hair. His nose was shaped differently. But he wasn't as black as an African, wasn't as white as a European. He was in between. Children would mock him. "Half-caste," they'd shout. "Mixed," Bob would fight. Throw punches. "I'm Jamaican." But nobody listened. Black children would say, "You're not one of us. You're the white people's child." White children would say, "You're not one of us. You're the black people's child." Bob didn't belong anywhere. This alienation hurt him. Every day, every night. "Why am I different? Why don't they accept me?" Cedella would say. "You're special, Bob. God made you special. You'll see both worlds," Bob said. "But nobody loves me," Cedella said. "I love you. And one day the world will too." 9 Mile was a small village. 300 people. No jobs. No money. When Bob turned 12, Cedella said, "We're moving to Kingston. There are jobs there. A better life." 1957. They moved to Kingston, to Trenchtown neighborhood, Jamaica's poorest neighborhood. Tin houses, dirt roads, gangs. But for Bob, it was a new beginning. Maybe in Kingston he could belong somewhere. Maybe there he'd be accepted. But what Bob didn't know was that Trenchtown wouldn't accept him, but it would teach him music, and music would save him. Trenchtown was like hell. Tin houses, poverty, gangs, violence, fighting every day, gunshots every night, drug dealers on corners. Police wouldn't go in. That's not our business. Bob was 12. He went to school, but school was terrible. Teachers didn't care. "You're Trenchtown kids. You won't amount to anything anyway." Bob didn't even get a diploma. Dropped out at 14. Learned welding. But the pay was low. Every day, the same torture. There must be a way out. But Bob discovered music here. His neighbor, Joe Higgs, was a singer, played guitar, would rehearse in the yard. Bob would listen, stand by the door, for hours. Joe noticed. "Why are you listening?" Bob said. "Music is beautiful. Will you teach me?" Joe said, "You can't come. You're a kid." Bob said, "But I want to learn. Please." Joe saw the hunger in Bob's eyes. "Okay, come. But you'll be serious," Bob said. "I promise." Bob learned guitar, sang, discovered his voice, tenor, high, but powerful. Joe said, "Your voice is good, Bob. You have something special." Bob said, "Really?" Joe said, "Yes, but you must work hard." Bob rehearsed every day, for hours. His fingers hurt, but he wouldn't stop. "This is my language. What I can't say with words, I'll say with music. Nobody listened to me, but in music, everyone will listen." 1962. Bob, Bunny, Wailer, and Peter Tosh formed a group, the Wailers. They made ska music, Jamaica's popular music, fast, energetic, dance music. Their first single, "Simmer Down," came out in '63. It was a hit, #1 in Jamaica. Bob was 18. He was famous. Everyone in Trenchtown knew him. Bob Marley, superstar. But there was no money. The music industry was exploitative. Studios made money. Artists didn't. Bob still lived in Trenchtown. Still poor. 1966. Bob married Rita Anderson. Rita was also a singer in the Sulettes. She was beautiful, strong, had a voice. Bob said, "You're my queen, Rita." Rita said, "You're my king." They got married, lived in Trenchtown. Their first child, Cedella, was born in '67, then David Ziggy in '68. Rita was happy. "Finally, I have a family." But there was a money problem. Bob said, "I'm going to America. I'll make money, then come back." He went to Delaware, worked in a factory, Chrysler, assembly line. 8 months. Saved money. Came back. "Now I can focus on music." But first, Bob needed to discover something, Rastafari. And Rastafari would help him find his identity. Late 1960s, Bob discovered the Rastafari faith through Mortimer Plano, a Rastafari teacher. He was teaching in Trenchtown. Bob was skeptical at first. "What is this, a religion?" Mortimer said, "Rastafari is the path of Africans. Haile Selassie is God's manifestation on earth. Emperor of Ethiopia. King. We are in exile. Jamaica is exile. But one day, we'll return to Africa. We'll escape Babylon." Bob said, "What is Babylon?" Mortimer said, "The white man's system. Slavery, colonialism, capitalism, police, government, all Babylon. But we will be free. Jah will save us." Bob found faith. "Rastafari helped me find my identity. I'm African. My roots are in Ethiopia. Being black is something to be proud of. Being mixed doesn't matter. I'm Africa's child. My white father abandoning me doesn't matter. Jah is my real father. He grew his hair out, made dreadlocks, Rastafari symbol, lion's mane, symbol of strength. He used ganja, sacred plant. His music changed from ska to reggae. Slower, deeper, the lyrics became political. Get up, stand up, concrete jungle, criticizing the system. 1972, he met Chris Blackwell, Island Records. A white Englishman. Bob hesitated. "Will a white person help us? My father was white. He abandoned me." Chris said, "Music is universal. Let's take reggae to the world." Bob accepted. But what Bob didn't know was that after becoming a world star, politics would target him. 1973. Catch a Fire album. First international album. This is Reggae. 1974. Burnin' album. I Shot the Sheriff. Eric Clapton covered it. Went to #1. The world was discovering Bob Marley. 1975. Peter, Tosh, and Bunny left. Bob continued solo. Natty Dread album. No Woman, No Cry live version. Legendary. Tours. Everywhere. Bob was different on stage. Energy. Dance. His dreadlocks would swing. 1976. Rastaman Vibration album. top 10 in America. Bob was a superstar. But there was political chaos in Jamaica. Two parties, PNP, Socialist Michael Manley, JLP, Conservative Edward Seaga. Enemies, street wars. Bob was in the middle. Both parties wanted him, but Bob would say, "I'm for peace, not politics." September 1976. Prime Minister Manley called Bob. Organize a concert for peace. Smile Jamaica. Bob accepted. Free. For the people. Rehearsal on December 5th. Concert on December 7th. But JLP was upset. This is propaganda. Threats came to Bob. Cancel the concert, or we'll kill you. Bob said, "I'm not afraid." But what Bob didn't know was that those threats were real. December 5th evening, 9 p.m., 56 Hope Road, Bob's house. They were rehearsing. A car stopped. 3 men got out, went inside, pulled out guns, fired. Bob was shot in the arm, Rita in the head, manager Don Taylor in the chest 5 times. The attackers fled. Ambulance came. Rita had been shot in the head, but the bullet went through her skull. She lived. Don Taylor was critical, but he lived. Bob's wound was minor. Who shot them? JLP, PNP, CIA, nobody was caught. Some said CIA did it. Bob was too powerful. It was the Cold War. America didn't want socialism in the Caribbean. There was no proof, but there was suspicion. December 7th, concert day. Bob said, "I won't cancel. I'm going on stage." Doctor said, "You're injured." Bob said, "I'll show the power of music. Violence can't stop me." He went on stage. 80,000 people, bandage on his arm, sang for 90 minutes. The crowd went crazy. Bob said, "Peace, love." After the concert, Bob left Jamaica to London. "I'm not safe anymore." Didn't return for 2 years. But first, Bob would give the world one more message. Exodus. 1977, London. He recorded Exodus, jamming, One Love, Three Little Birds. Time magazine called it Album of the 20th Century. They were on tour in Paris. One day they played football. Bob was running, kicked with his foot, felt pain, right foot, big toe, bruising under the toenail. "It'll pass," he said. It didn't. He went to the doctor. Biopsy. Result, melanoma. Cancer. The doctor said, "We must cut off the toe, otherwise it'll spread. You'll die." Bob was shocked. "But I'm Rastafari. We respect the integrity of the body." "You can't cut off a part," the doctor said. "This is a matter of life," Bob said. "Then it's Jah's will. I won't cut off the toe." They compromised. The tip of the toe was cut, but not the whole toe. Bob said, "This is enough." But it wasn't enough. The cancer was still there, spreading. But what Bob didn't know at that moment was that this decision would kill him in 4 years. 1978, Kaya album, Is This Love? April 78, Return to Jamaica, One Love Peace Concert. Manley and Saga were on stage. Bob called them to the stage. Joined their hands. The crowd went wild. Peace iconic moment. Bob said, "Politics divides, music unites." 1979, Survival album. 1980, Uprising album, Redemption song. Bob's most personal song. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. Bob said, "This is my final message. Be free." September 1980, Bob was jogging in Central Park, fell down, unconscious, taken to hospital, scan, bad news. Cancer had metastasized to his brain, lungs, liver, everywhere. Stage 4. Doctor said, "You have very little time." Bob said, "How much?" "Maybe months." Bob was devastated. "I'm 36, too young. I don't want to die." But first, Bob would fight one last battle. In Germany. October 1980, Bob went to Germany, Joseph Issel's clinic, alternative cancer treatment, diet, vitamins, detox. Not Babylon's medicine, Natural treatment. It didn't work. Bob was losing weight rapidly, from 155 pounds to 75. His hair fell out, dreadlocks gone, eyes sunken. But he didn't give up. Jah will save me. May 1981. Doctor said, there's nothing left to do. Bob said, I want to go back to Jamaica. 9 Mile. I want to die where I was born. May 9th. He boarded a plane with his family, but emergency landing in Miami. Bob was very bad. Couldn't breathe. Taken to Cedars of Lebanon Hospital. May 10th. Bob spoke. Difficult. Rita, tell the children. The music must continue. The peace message must continue. Rita cried. I will, Bob. I promise. May 11th morning. Bob was struggling to breathe. Ziggy held his hand. Dad, we're with you. Bob tried to open his eyes, whispered, money can't buy life. His last words, 11:45 a.m. Bob Marley died, 36 years old. May 21st, 1981. Bob Marley's funeral. Jamaica. State ceremony. Prime Minister Sega said Bob Marley was Jamaica's greatest ambassador. He took reggae to the world, took the peace message to the world. 25,000 people came, sang his songs. One Love, Redemption Song. They put his guitar in his coffin, his Bible, a ganja branch, Rastafari tradition. He was buried in 9 Mile. The gravestone says One Love. Bob Marley was a mixed child. Father white, mother black. He didn't belong to either. Excluded. Half-caste, mixed. His father abandoned him. Never knew him. Bob was alone. But this loneliness made him stronger. He saw both worlds, understood both, united them with his music. Reggae spread worldwide. His messages became universal. Peace, love, unity. One love. Race didn't matter. We were all human. Shot in 76 for doing a peace concert. Went on stage 2 days later. Wounded, bandaged. Music is stronger than war, he said. 77, his foot was injured. Melanoma. Cancer. Doctors said, cut off the toe. Bob said, my faith won't allow it. Rastafari. Body sanctity. Cancer spread to his brain in 80. Died in 81. 36 years old. But Bob didn't die. His music lives. Millions listen every day. Every generation discovers. His 11 children became musicians. Ziggy, Damien, Stephen, Julian, all following their father's path, carrying the one love message. The child who belonged nowhere eventually belonged to the whole world, forever.